I thought there was going to be scaffolding on site, but the day that we were scheduled to do it, they only had a cherry picker. And I'm like, dude, I've never driven a cherry picker. I don't know how to operate it. He's like, I'll show you. We get into the bucket and he's like, that's up, that's down, that's left, that's right. Don't touch this, don't touch that. Watch out for the power lines. I'll be in the trailer if you need me. I'm like, what did I just get myself into? Welcome back to Absolute Joy. I'm Michael Joy, and this channel is full of all sorts of things, including entrepreneurial stories. My hope is that some of these silly stories might save you some time in your life if you happen to be in the trades of some sort. Maybe you can not take it on the chin like I did in some instances. There's two stories that come to my mind that I was in over my head. At the time, I just started refacing ornamental facades. I'm a mold maker by trade. Mold making is the type of thing that companies didn't know where to go to find somebody. Needed something. We have a lot of ornamental terracotta in Chicago, and they knew that if they needed some of that replaced, they had an option to either call a company from New York and they're going to send a team out here and it's going to be really expensive, or they can get some punk kid art student guy to come out and say he thinks he can do it. Well, that was what I did. One of the things I did was for the Playboy Mansion. What happened was the mansion had been sold and it was being turned into condos, one of the many reiterations of that particular property. And they had this copper dolphin that the gutter would pass through, and one was missing. And so took that copper, I have it. This was the pounded copper gutter downspout, the dolphin, and this is the one that I made a mold of to duplicate, and I put a patina on it. So they had one, I took it, I molded it, and I sent them two of these, and they were mounted onto the building. It's cast. That was a development company, and then the job went well, they really liked it. Then they called me back and they said, we're working on another building, can you come check it out? And what it was is they had removed the fire escape from the side of the building because they put internal stairs, and now the decorative ribbon that went across had a 10-foot gap. And so they said, we would like you to mold a piece of that ribbon and make the replacements for this. It was the first time that I was on a construction site on a swing stage. And so we went upstairs, and it was like the 7th or 8th floor. They put a harness on me. I'm like, oh shit. And we crawl outside the window and we get on this swing stage, which is basically a scaffolding hanging by ropes. I was not used to that, but there was a manager with me. He was pretty chill. He just stayed with me the whole time while I made the mold of the piece. It took a long time, but it was a beautiful day. I remember him, he was just kind of looking out at the day, and he was shaking the rail. He said, oh, this is supposed to, be 400 pounds. He said, that'll go. And I was just like, oh shit. And I remember looking down to the ground. For whatever reason, there was an underground parking garage right there. And I just thought, oh my God, if I fall off of this swing stage, I'm not gonna hit the ground. It's gonna be like I'm Wile E. Coyote, and I'm gonna go right down through the sidewalk and be looking up at the ground as I fall through the bottom of this parking garage. And I just thought, oh my God, I didn't charge enough for this. But we got it done. I took it back to the shop and everybody was happy. And then that same company called me again. So you see, a small job leads to a little bigger job, leads to a big job. Now we had these big architectural columns that they were asking me to replicate ribbons from. And I knew how to do it, but when I went to the site, I looked up and I quoted the job. They agreed to it. And then I thought there was going to be scaffolding on site, but the day that we were scheduled to do it, they only had a cherry picker. And the same manager that I'd worked with before came out there. He didn't pay attention to the rules, I guess. And I'm like, dude, I've never driven a cherry picker. I don't know how to operate it. He's like, I'll show you. We get into the bucket and he's like, that's up, that's down, that's left, that's right. Don't touch this, don't touch that. Watch out for the power lines. I'll be in the trailer if you need me. I'm like, what did I just get myself into? I was there with my buddy David. He's in one of our interviews. And I remember being on that cherry picker doing the mold work. The danger isn't falling out of the cherry picker. The danger is a car crashing into the parked piece on the road because everyone's looking up at you. What's going on? But what I didn't know, because I don't operate those pieces of equipment, is I didn't know to check the gas. And so I'm up on this thing way extended and it runs out of gas. And I was just like, oh my God. I'm hollering downstairs to my guy David to, get, and he operated equipment in the military. So he knew what to do, and he got that sucker down and he got me down on the ground. Now, the part of the business story here that I want to talk to you about is I was over my head to begin with on that, made it through, got it okay, got the pieces to the shop to mold the cast, but I was so underbid because I had bid this job from the ground. And when I got up on the lift, what I thought was this big was like this big. And I was like, oh, I was clueless, man, absolutely clueless. But I was so ambitious to try to just get the job done. And I was so excited that I was able to have this. This is right after art school. You don't understand. I'm like, this to this to this. That job I lost so much money on. That's the one that I took a picture of myself standing in front with a sheet of paper that said $600 and this long row of columns that I had to make for that. And it was just like, oh my God. That is because I didn't know how to pull the plug on something. I should have just said, I can't do it for that. I've made a terrible mistake. We weren't tied up in a lot of contracts, but instead, my pride and my desire to get this done overwhelmed I didn't even think to give it up financially, but it was a great relief to have it done. So that happened.